Hello, everyone.
This is Michael Justin Lee, the president of the Ivy Dream. Welcome to another episode of Aspire. Today, we are very pleased to be joined by a first year student at Columbia University. Her name is Valeriya Zherebtsova, and I'm very pleased that you've chosen to join us. Thank you for joining us today, Valeriya.
Yeah, hello. Thanks a lot for inviting me here. Yeah, my name is Valeriya. I'm a first year student at Columbia, and I'm really pleased to join you today.
Wonderful. Valeria, we'd like to ask you where you are from, and if you could walk us through your childhood and your academic journey, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm from Russia, from Novosibirsk. In my sixth grade, I understood that I'm really interested in math. I went to some extracurriculum clubs, and that's why me and my family we decided to apply to some good schools in Moscow, in Russia, to uh, continue my study in math. And then I passed some exams in different schools, and I was accepted to one of them. So we moved to Moscow, and from my seventh grade, I started my indeed mathematical journey. For 5 years, I studied in a math center school. We had an accelerated like AP physics classes, computer science classes, math classes, and every day I was even more sure that I want to do some STEM subjects in university and later in my life.
Oh, that's very interesting. Valeria, were these interests entirely of your decision, or was there influence from your family to move into a math STEM direction?
Uh, it's funny because since my childhood, I played with my granny in school. I was a teacher, math teacher. She was my student. And from that time, I realized that I'm really interested in math specifically and in education. And then my parents, they supported my interest in math. They signed me for different math clubs. And then, yeah, I think they really helped me to actually move to Moscow to apply to all these schools. So I mean it was um, like my granny influenced my interest in math, and my parents really helped me to develop it later.
Oh, they clearly did. So your parents were willing to move the whole family to Moscow for your education, specifically for that reason?
Yes, it sounds really like interesting, intimidating, and strange, but moved to another city, and I'm really grateful to them for this.
Oh, that's wonderful. From childhood, did you have a particular career goal that you were moving towards with your mathematics education?
Um, yeah, as I mentioned, I played as a math teacher with my granny, and I was really interested in education. So while studying at school, I always noticed how the teacher, like which approaches my teacher used, how did they teach, was it effective or not. And then later, I did the research about how to teach calculus effectively for schools. I was. For many years, I was really sure that I want to do math and education, probably teach at university or at school to help people to be interested in math because I think it's like one of the most interesting area I have known.
Oh, that is very interesting. I'm aware as a former professor that the Russian system of education is very different from the American one. Would you tell us, please, how exactly is the Russian system of teaching mathematics different from from that in the United States?
Yeah, in my school, particularly, the founder of this Russian system, he helped my school to develop it. Um, it was interesting because here we have a lot of lectures during my calculus courses. However, in my school in Russia, we were just given a list of problems, and each problem helped us to move closer to prove some theorem, to solve a difficult and more general problem. And thus, we developed like an understanding how to explore math rather than just listening to the teacher. Because here a professor, for example, tells us this is the theorem, this is how we can prove it, and this is how we can use it. And when we are given some problem sets and we practice using this theorem. And it seems like it's really passive. We just grasp some knowledge and then apply it. However, in Russia, we were just given problems. We know nothing about this topic so far, and the first problem is really easy, just to grasp the concept, to understand what we are doing. The next problem is a bit more difficult, and it uses the previous problem. And thus, step by step, we are able to prove a really difficult theorem. And I think it's a really interesting approach because it makes the students to feel less intimidated by the science. Because here, when you're listening to a professor is so smart. He graduated from like excellent schools, and it seems that students are really far from doing actually math and doing science. But back in Russia, I felt like I'm really close to them, to these scientists, to these researchers, to Newton, to like other excellent mathematicians. Yeah, it's
That is fascinating, Valeria. I'll want to come back to the application process to Columbia, but to continue on this topic first, now that you have started your mathematics education in the American system at Columbia, do you feel comfortable learning in a totally different style of teaching?
yeah, I would say it's even like easier for me because I'm listening to theorems and to proofs, and I really appreciate. And I remember about a month ago, I was sitting in a classroom, and I thought that I'm in academic heaven. Now, so yeah, I would say it's really easy. Here it was like, easy to transfer to another system, and I see a lot of advantages of American education system too. So yeah.
Yes, in particular, I'm aware that the Russian versus American style of teaching calculus, which you mentioned you are already learning at a young age, in particular, teaching calculus is very different. Would you walk us through your how you developed an interest in studying in the United States?
Yeah, actually, I developed my interest really early, about 11, when I was 11 or 12 years old. I was watching a TV show, and there was a show about American universities, especially about Ivy League universities. And I was really interested, I was really inspired to apply there. And since then, it was my, like, I would call it impossible dream so far. But when I grew older, and in my ninth grade, like at the end of ninth grade and at the beginning of 10th grade, I decided to actually try to apply to US universities, to try to take some tests like SAT tests or language proficiency tests. Yeah.
Um, Valeria, is coming to the United States for university common among Russian students, at least the ones that you know?
I would say it was several years before. Now, obviously, less students apply to U.S. universities, but yeah, there are still on my campus. There are a lot of Russian students or students who know Russian, and even in my class, there was several people who applied also to U.S. or Canada.
Oh, I see. When you were doing this, did you encounter any resistance from your family about going so far away to university?
Oh no, fortunately not. They were really supportive. They really like helped me throughout all my journey. I am really grateful to them for this. No, without them, I wouldn't be able to study here.
Yes, of course, I can imagine, especially the cost. Now, Valeria, the American university application process is very different from that of most countries. Could you tell us, please, which part of the application gave you the most difficulty?
I believe I think the essay part, because for every university you have to write something really specific. You have to research every website, like all the opportunities. You have to find something really interesting which will catch the attention of the admission committee. And yeah, some of the essays are really creative. I remember for some universities, I was really lost. What should I write about? So yeah, and I probably, because of taking a lot of SAT tests and doing my project at the same time, I started writing essays really late, I would say, and I was really overwhelmed, especially in December. So I would recommend to start writing essays probably even in the summer before applying to universities. Yeah, because it's really time consuming and energy consuming.
Indeed, indeed. In many countries, maybe most countries outside the United States, most university application processes are really just one exam. Obviously, in the United States, it's very different from that. And in the United States, at least among our clients, we try to advise them to create examples of leadership. Was that something you did?
Um, Yeah, as I applied as a joint math and education major here, I did a volunteering for several years. I volunteered as a math teacher at my school, and I was kind of supervisor of our teaching assistants, I would say. And also, I did boxing, And it was one of my motivation to do this sport was to develop kind of a leadership of being like able to interact with people in another way. So yeah, and I think it's really important. All the people I met here so far, when we discussed their projects, what they did before applying to university, everyone had such a distinct and really interesting extracurricular activities. And I think almost every activity involves some kind of leadership, of supervising, something like that.
Now, did you know this, or were you doing those activities just from personal interest?
No, education was my personal interest, so I volunteered just because I really wanted to teach students. And when I was really happy I did it because I could use it as in my application.
Oh, I see. Did you get much assistance from your high school counselors about what is necessary to do in order to apply for top universities in the United States, like the Ivy Leagues?
Unfortunately, not in my school. Teachers or counselors they didn't know about U.S. system at all. They could only help you to apply to Russian universities, like basically to prepare you for exams. So yeah, from my school, I didn't receive any help, unfortunately.
So you had to learn everything on your own.
Yes, and also I had some advisors, but not from my school, and they helped me to guide. They guided me through application process. They told me what traits are important, what should I do to apply and to be accepted to good university.
Oh, I see. How did they help you decide on which university specifically to apply to?
To be honest, I applied to many universities, to 27, as I remember. So we created a
27, really?
yeah, it's a huge list, and actually we created there are three categories in this list, like rich schools, the schools I really dream of, were super high, super selective, and like to some extent luck really matters in being accepted to such universities. When target universities like really good, really yeah, like respected schools, but in which it's quite easier to get. And I would say like the chance was, for example, 50% to get in this school. And when highly likely schools, these schools I was pretty sure I will be accepted. It was like just in case if no one accepts me. So yeah, and I developed these three categories, and in each category I had about uh, 10 or 8 universities. So yeah, it was like I think it's important to have this balanced list because uh, the period when all the applications and the like acceptance were released, it was a really stressful period of time. So I felt a bit relieved that I had these highly likely options. So yeah, I would recommend to apply to all three.
Yes, I know that I assume in any country, the exact moment when you find out which universities have accepted you is, of course, a very stressful time. How did you feel at the exact moment when you received notice that you had been accepted to Columbia?
Uh, it was 2 a.m. because of a time difference. I haven't like
At 2 a.m.
yes, I haven't sleeping for like so many hours. It was a sleepless night before, and I cried. I just cried. I couldn't believe. I even video recorded this moment because I want to cherish it later. Yeah, when I wake my parents and they couldn't believe actually because it was night. It seemed like a dream.
I can imagine. But after after it really sunk in that you'll be coming to Columbia for university, from then to traveling to New York, how did you prepare both uh, mentally as well as logistically?
Uh, I wouldn't say I prepare a lot logistically because we just my mom helped me to pack all my things, like what I will need in the dorm for some urgent things because I couldn't. I don't know. I was so lost and overwhelmed. And psychologically, I would say that this summer was one of the hardest summers for me because it seemed that I have to spend all my time with my family because I will lose them. I have never been far from them so far. Uh,
Yes.
and for so long, like only for a week, and now to be at least 4 months, I was really scared, afraid. I cried a lot. I would confess,
Oh, did you?
yeah, it was So like the moment when I had to leave was really painful for me. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I just spent a lot of time throughout the summer with my parents, and I'm really happy that I did it because now it helps me to not miss them so much.
Yes, that must have been difficult. I remember when my parents drove me up to Brown University. I also cried when they drove away. How was it like at the airport when you said goodbye to them?
I said goodbye to my mom in the airport, but my dad came with me here, and it really helped me because otherwise I would be overwhelmed. But after the convocation, he had to leave. And I remember it was so sudden because the president of our university, Manus Shafik, she told, and now all the parents have to leave and your new student registration program starts, so you have to say goodbye. And I was just, oh, I was ready to cry, but I had so much events happening right like in a minute, so I didn't have time for this.
Yes, I can remember that time actually. What was I assume that they did that intentionally just to help all the students get adjusted immediately. What was freshman orientation like when you started?
It was amazing. At first, I didn't really. I mean, I liked it, but I was overwhelmed by how many students, how many connections I have to make because I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm an extroverted person. So yeah, but all the students they said that later in the semester I will miss my new student registration program, and that's true. Now I wish I could be there for at least one day. It was really because they helped me to like establish a lot of connections with our students, and I'm still friends with them. So I think it's really important to make yourself go to any some events to like try to make friends. Yeah.
Yes, I can imagine. Columbia has one of the most international student bodies in the United States. Have you met people from many countries?
Yeah, that's actually true. Anytime I leave library in the corridors, in the hallways, I always hear so many languages, but I almost never hear English. It's so surprising. And almost all my friends were international students, and it's kind of surprising, but I think it's easier to connect with international students because they had the same experience of moving to another country, of leaving their parents far away from here. So yeah, there are a lot of international students.
And now, with with your first semester more than halfway completed, do you still get homesick?
Yes, I would say sometimes when I'm overwhelmed by my assignments, I kind of don't have time to really miss my parents. But yeah, at some random time, it strikes me that I haven't seen my mom for several months already. Yeah, I would say I still feel homesick, to be honest.
And in terms of your academics, what are your courses this first semester at Columbia?
I took a bit more courses when it was recommended to. I'm taking calculus, physics, computer science as something related to my major because I plan to major in applied mathematics. There are core courses in Columbia College, University Writing and Literature Humanities, which I am required to take this semester. And I'm also taking a seminar in biology just because I decided that every semester I have to explore something new, something I haven't done before.
Oh, that's really interesting that you chose that. At Brown, the departments of math and applied math are very different. How did you decide to major in applied math as opposed to pure math?
I know that I'm interested in math, but I was pretty sure that I don't want to work as a scientist in a like laboratory or just calculate something for my whole life. I would say, and it seems that applied math is like it implies its name is like, more applicable. So one of the reasons I love United States educational system is that I can choose my major a bit later after I explore all the courses. So I said applied math is a broader area. So after this, I can go wherever I want, like physics, biology, chemistry, whatever.
Yes, indeed. Many of my friends chose applied mathematics for that very reason. If I may take a step back and return to the application journey, when did you start preparing for the SAT?
Uh, I would say the middle of my 10th grade, almost a year before applying to universities, because before I took TOEFL, it's a language proficiency test which all international students are required to take, and after this I started preparing for SAT.
I see. What was the next step in your process after you prepared for the SAT?
Uh, at the same time, I started doing my project related to my interests. Actually, I developed an online course which taught calculus for those who don't have access to a decent mathematical education, because it grasps both math and education, both areas I'm passionate about. And I also started thinking about my essays. Yeah.
I see. That sounds like a very fascinating project. How did you come upon that one?
I knew that I wanted to do something related to math, but since I'm not really interested in pure math, I wanted also to open some educational side. And I already had some experience in teaching math, and I studied at a math center school, so I would say I knew calculus quite well, and I really wanted to help people because since I came not from Moscow but from Novosibirsk, and many students they don't have opportunities like those in Moscow, and I feel really sorry about people from my hometown, because I really want everyone to have access to good education. So yeah, it was a really important motivation for me to create this course.
That is very, very interesting. That extracurricular activity clearly benefited a great number of people. Did you have a chance to discuss that in your application?
Yes, I listed it as my project, and I also wrote a lot of essays about this, like about what I would like to change in the world, because educational inequality really I'm really concerned about this question. So my course, I hope, contributed to this issue at least a bit. So yeah, I discussed this a lot in my essay because it's really important. It's like one of the most important thing I did so far, I would say.
Yes, that's very interesting. We at the Ivy Dream make a big, big push for our students to conduct these extracurricular activities. Do you find that you're still pursuing it now that the application process is completed?
Um, you mean, am I still developing my project?
Are you still monitoring it?
Yeah, actually, interestingly, recently I received some comments about my project. Sometimes I received some questions about the topic I taught, and I was really pleased because it showed me that this course is really helpful, that some people really watch it and ask questions. So, yeah, it really pleases me whenever I receive a notification about another comment from my course. So yeah, and I also plan to develop my course later. Now I don't really have time, but probably during winter break or summer break, I will have time to record more lectures.
Oh, that's interesting. That is very fascinating. And then from there, after you have your SAT, you had your SAT score, you had completed your extracurricular activity. You've already mentioned that you really had your mind set on coming to the United States. What was the next step in your application process?
Actually, SAT took me a lot of time. I took it 4 times. The last one was in December, right, like a month before applying to universities. So it was like with me throughout all my journey.
Oh, I
And
see. I see.
yeah, and after I finished my project, almost like in September or in summer, before applying to university, I started writing essays. As I already mentioned, it was really time consuming. And also there is early decision option, which I applied to Brown, by the way. So I had to prepare for this application because it was my first application. Obviously, it took much more time for me. Yeah, so early decision application and later essays for other universities.
Oh, I see. And I know that obtaining the letters of recommendation can be difficult because other students from other countries often don't need that. Was that difficult for you as a student in Russia to obtain the necessary letters of recommendation?
Yes, it was because many of my teachers they have never even heard about this, so I had to explain why I need it, why I want this. what do we need to write. And many teachers, we don't know English really well, so we wrote it in Russian, and then I had to translate it in English, and they had to agree with this letter. So it was really hard and time-consuming process. And unfortunately, some of my teachers left the country, and it was even harder for me to write to them, to try to contact them. So yeah, and that's why I started worrying about my recommendation letters in April. So like about 6 months before applying. So yeah, it took
I
me a lot
see.
of.
That is a difficult situation. In fact, on that topic, we at the Ivy Dream make a very big place very big emphasis on soul searching, looking inward about what they want, about the person they are. Was that difficult for you to do without having the teachers as a resource to assist you?
Um, for recommendation, what do you mean for recommendation letters?
No, to writing your essays.
Oh,
As we all know, all the application essays really have one goal, which is to know a lot about you as a person. Was that difficult for you to obtain that much self knowledge?
I would say it was, and that's why I'm really grateful to the editor who helped me to write my essays, to come up with an ideas. I talked to her a lot. We like brainstormed, and after this, I was motivated and I was really inspired to write an essay. When she helped me to structure it, I think without her, it would be almost impossible for me to write so many letters. And because I have in Russia, we have never written essays before, so it was my first important experience. So yeah, it was hard for me.
Really, really, in the Russian system, writing is not big emphasis.
Not at all, because for example, now I'm taking university writing course, and I see how much different Russian writing system is from the United States one. We are usually required to write some essay only in literature or Russian language, and that's all. For all the other subjects, we never write anything, especially with abstract essays about, like, as an example, why this university? Why are you a good applicant? So it was my first experience, and it was difficult.
That is fascinating. I did not actually know that the Russian education system was not like that. In writing an effective essay, now, especially now that you're in the university, did you receive any teaching as a student from a country which does not emphasize that? Surely Columbia would know from previous Russian students that they had that kind of education. Have you learned it now?
Yes, because I'm university writing. There is a specific section for international students, and I think it really helps me. It's really useful because all the students are international. I don't feel embarrassed about my accent, about my inability to speak clearly. So yeah, I really love this opportunity to study among other international students. And also at Columbia, we have a writing center. Basically, you can just come to this center and ask to help with any step of your essay. Even if you don't have an essay at all, they can just help you brainstorm. If you have an exploratory draft, they can help you to move it one step forward. If you think what you already done, but you want some assistance in structure, uh, actually any question you need, you can come. And also there is opportunity for only uniquely to for international students to sign up for weekly meetings in this writing center with the same person, so that you can develop a connection with this person and learn how to write better.
That is a wonderful resource that Columbia has. We actually had nothing like that, at least when I was a student at Brown. And I know that my international friends would very much have enjoyed that. We at the Ivy Dream make learning writing skills a big part of our coaching practice. Do you think that would have helped you when you were applying to universities?
Yes, I would say this because even now, after studying less than 2 months in university writing, I see how my writing has improved. How like much my teacher, my professor helped me. So yeah, writing skills are really important, and I would say that for now, writing something is the most time-consuming task for me because I see with how our like native speakers they are writing really fast, they're writing some amazing, fascinating text, and it takes me I know 15 minutes to find the collocation I want to use because sometimes I can come up with a perfect phrase in Russian, really hard to translate it into English. So this is also really time consuming, and being knowing how to write, remembering the structures, phrases which might be useful would be really helpful for me.
Yes, that's great. That's absolutely great. And now, Valeria, I realize you're still in your first semester. Do you have plans that you intend to embark upon after graduation?
It's hard to say because now, but after I started my first semester, I felt a little bit lost because we had in Colombia a lot of career fairs. I went there, and they are looking for really specific skills which I don't yet have. So I don't know yet, but there is a center on campus, and I went there. It was really helpful because they helped me to understand what I really want to do. And probably I would like to work after my graduation before receiving PhD or master's degree. Yeah, and yeah, but I'm not sure yet at all, to be honest.
Do you intend to stay in the United States for your graduate education?
Yes, yes, I would love to. I would love to work here after my graduation.
Okay. Now, Valeria, this is a big, big question. What would you define as success in your life?
I think finding a balance between doing something I'm really passionate about and I would say earning some money. I know that might sound really practical or pragmatic, but I think that everyone wants to earn money, but I don't. I really want to do something I'm passionate about because I came here, I continued my STEM studies, and I understood how much I love this field. So yeah, I would like to combine my passion with my work. Yeah, and I would define just find constantly learning something new, constant traveling, something like that. I would say.
Wonderful. Going back to your extracurricular activity, which was a teaching activity, do you think you might go in that direction in your life?
I thought so, but probably later because for teaching, I guess I have to receive my PhD to be able to work in university, for example. And since my plan is, I don't think I'm gonna receive PhD immediately after my bachelor degree. So I'll probably do it later after I receive my PhD. I would say, or probably after I get some experience working in industry. I can switch to education, but definitely not after graduation.
I see. I see. Well, Valeria, it has been a great pleasure meeting you. And thank you so much for sharing your journey, your application process, and how you are enjoying your studies at Columbia University. We at
Yeah,
the Ivy Dream wish you the very, very best. And if there's anything that we can do to help you, I invite you to continue to stay in contact with us and let us know how things are going as your education progresses.
thank you so much for inviting, and I wish good luck to all the future applicants of Ivy Dream.
Thank you very much, Valeria. This was Valeriya Zherebtsova from Columbia University, a mathematics major.